Hello and welcome back to Maths with Mr. Duffield. I am the aforementioned Mr. Duffield, and before I go today back home to sleep, I'm going to work through this little question. There's a bunch of them just like it on the resource that I started in my last video for my Deps. It's a trig equation. It's still in radians between 0 and 2 pi. There's just a little bit of a slight flavour to it. So let me copy this down and then we can do a little bit of rearranging work, because that is what it takes to solve this question. Because I do want to do inverse cosine to isolate x, but before I can do that, I've got to rearrange this to get cos x on its own, which is as simple as taking away 3 from both sides, eliminating that. I'm left with 5 cos x equals minus 1, and then divide both sides by 5, because I don't want 5 cos x, I just want cos x. So cos x equals negative 1 over 5. And now I've got it in a form that looks a bit like what we had in the last video on the last set of questions I was doing. So really, there isn't much to hamper us, really. Just stay calm and crack on. And again, of course, x is the inverse cos of minus 1/5. Okay? And just as we did before, got to draw out a diagram. I mean, this is how I would choose to do it. I would choose to draw out a diagram. You may prefer any of the plethora of diagrams and methods that you've been chosen. This is the one that really I like. So negative 1/5 is down here somewhere. And just as it is before, it's going to give you a value there. I don't know what that value is, but I know it's the same distance below pi as this intercept point is above pi. Okay, and that's actually really useful because, yeah, once I can work that out, I can find that gap and then add it to pi to find the second one. So let's get my calculator out and give this a go. It's inverse cos of negative 1 over 5. Ooh, okay. 1.77. All right. Now, the distance between pi and 1.77 here should be added to pi to give me the second solution. Okay, so what is that gap? This gap is pi minus 1.77, isn't it? Yeah, that is effectively, if it was a number line, I'd subtract this one from this one to work out that length, and that is what is going to be added here. Okay, so the answer to that, just bear with me, just trying to find pi on my freaking pi minus that makes 1.369. Okay, that is effectively what is going to be added to this. So this is pi plus 1.369. Okay, so let's add that on, which is 4.511. Okay, so my two solutions there, the first one I found by just doing inverse cos of negative 1/5, gives me an answer of 1.77. And then that second value comes from finding that gap between pi and 1.77 and then adding it onto pi to get that second interception point. You know I can do that because the graph is symmetrical. Yep. And I'm using that symmetricality to find both of those values. 4.51 to 3 sig figs is the second solution. So those are my two solutions for this question. I hope that helps you. In essence, it's just practice once we get down to this this cos diagram drawing. Okay, what was new with this question was being given it in this weird form, needing to isolate cos x by doing inverse operations to both sides until cos x is on its own, and then the rest is as we've already been shown before. There's always value in going through these kinds of questions again. I hope that helps you. I wish you all of the best in all of your work, and for goodness sake, submit your assignments to Teams. I will talk to you very soon.